So we're going to talk about the 2024 Toyota Tacoma that's being released soon. Let's talk about the bullet points of the video right now.
Rugged, tough, game-changing.
So one of the bullet points I'd like to talk about is the fender flares. They look a lot larger than the old ones. I'm hoping that we can get 35-inch tires underneath those wheel wells now without having to do cab mount chops and a lot of modifications.
That's Toyota Tacoma. It's a name that has dominated the mid-sized truck market for the last 18 years, and now it's reborn for a fourth gen.
One good thing is the TRD off-road that they do have on the 2024, they do have 33-inch tires, so that's something that they never had before. They had 31-inch tires on the TRD off-roads and the TRD Pro. That's kind of nice already, because my 2022 TRD off-road, the max tire I can put on there is a 32-inch tire, which is totally fine, but the factory will come out with a 33-inch tire. That's pretty good. Let's hope that they can squeeze a 35-inch tire in there too.
Generation. Built to showcase Toyota's latest technologies.
Let me rewind that a little bit. So the 2022 did have a nice screen in it too. It had I think an 8-inch screen, but now you're going to have Apple and Android wireless integration, so you won't even have to have your phone plugged into your car. You can have it staying in your pocket. The dash also has, just like how Ford Bronco and the other ones are doing it, they have a non-analog type dash structure now, so you don't have physical gauges anymore. They're all digital. I generally run with the digital miles per hour gauge anyway. Totally fine by me. I know some people love the analog, and I'm sure they got analog views for it, but this is a plus for me.
Toyota's latest technologies, powertrains, and chassis design. This all-new 2024
Also, the 2024 Tacoma is going to be built off the Tundra frame structure platform. Just like the other companies are doing it, they use one frame structure so you can cut costs for building supplies and things like that. You also get a beefier structure because of it. Another thing I noticed was the payload capacity. Huge bump up. So the old payload of the Tacoma was like maybe 1,100 pounds, in most cases. Maybe 1,000 in some, like mine is 1,000. The new is going to have 1,700 pounds of payload. That is huge. I mean, it's 600 pounds extra of payload capacity. My guess is they have a much more beefier rear end under this truck to accommodate that payload capacity. But that's huge. I mean, when you're hauling an RV, the payload is generally the thing stopping you from going to an extreme size or a larger RV size. And to give out a 1,700 pound payload capacity, that's just huge.
Tacoma is ready to take on all challengers. With Toyota's legendary off-road heritage, performance runs deep in Tacoma's DNA. That means that, like always, it's the obvious choice when going off.
Now, I know when you're thinking of electrifying, you're adding a lot of complications to a vehicle. But when they talk about the inverter, I'm going to make a little point on this.
Off the beaten path. But for 2024, Tacoma's performance story takes a big leap forward with its incredible new powertrains. Case in point, an all-new iForce engine. A turbocharged 2.4-liter four-cylinder that puts out up to 278 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque.
Now, all the models of the Tacoma are going to have the inline four-cylinder. It's just going to have different grades of it. Like the iForce one is going to be with a generator-type structure built into it. And it's going to be able to use the generator and the engine together to make more horsepower and more torque. But there's also more benefits to that, and I'll explain in just a second.
And in addition to the 8-speed automatic transmission, drivers can even pair this engine to a 6-speed manual.
Oh, by the way, finally, we're going to get rid of the 6-speed automatic transmission. 8-speed automatic is on it now.
Which returns on select grades for purists that want to manage that power themselves. But the story gets even better with Tacoma's first ever electrified powertrain. A powerful hybrid that boasts impressive performance and great fuel economy. Based on the turbocharged 2.4-liter four-cylinder and coupled with an electric motor, this new iForce Max hybrid system produces 326 horsepower and an incredible 465 pound-feet of torque, nearly double that of the outgoing engine.
Because you have all that torque out of a turbo engine, that means you have that torque at a low range of RPM. That is huge because I'm towing an RV that's 3,500 pounds, and when I'm going through the mountains, that thing is always downshifting, and it downshifts to a high RPM. We're talking 4,500 RPM. It's just screaming on me. And now that we're going to have like 400 foot-pounds of torque at a low RPM, I'm going to be able to haul an RV and it won't have to scream on me. It can be running 2,500 RPM, or even 3,000 at the most. And I can just chug right up the mountain with the RV on the back. This is going to be great. I don't think they mentioned it, but the truck is going to have on the iForce, the hybrid version, it's going to have a 2,400 watt inverter in the bed. What that means is it's basically a generator in the back of your bed. You can run a lot of stuff. Now I have an email sent out to the CEO of Toyota to ask them the details of it. Like, can I run an RV, RV air conditioner off this? Maybe a couple hours at nighttime, or can I run it through the whole night? Is there a way to turn this thing on and let it power my RV all night long and I can run air conditioning in my RV? We'll find out more about that later on.
With power like this, Tacoma needs a serious platform to match. Like the latest Tundra and Sequoia, Tacoma uses the body-on-frame TNGA-F architecture, which features Dejima welded blanks that enhance structural rigidity. This fully boxed frame improves Tacoma.
By the way, did you hear that? Boxed frame. We finally have a boxed frame on the Tacoma. Should fix any rusting issues they've had in the past.
Tacoma's ride and handling, while its springs have been positioned inboard for better articulation, further enhancing the truck's capability. To improve off-road performance and ride comfort, Tacoma.
So they're going to have a 4-link independent rear suspension with springs instead of leaf springs. I'm curious. I've seen another video with the preview of this. It looks like it has great articulation. I'm curious about the clearance of the pumpkin. Is the pumpkin a stationary pumpkin? How is this going to be working, or is it a solid axle with a 4-link? I'm guessing it's a solid axle with a 4-link, but we'll see what the more details to come.
Tacoma offers an available independent 4-link rear suspension that provides better isolation and ride quality on all surfaces. And on that note, Tacoma now offers 2 max performance off-road grades, the legendary TRD Pro and the all-new Trail Hunter.
So the Trail Hunter is kind of like how Colorado has their beefier skid plate package. Basically, it's a steel rear bumper, skid plates all across the entire bottom. So it's just a package with a lot of protection, which is really great. It's got side rocker guards, really good for out of the box getting a truck with great protection underneath it.
Like always, TRD Pro is built for serious off-road fun. In addition to being 3 inches wider than its predecessor, Tacoma TRD Pro steps things up for 2024 with features like its standard isodynamic performance front seats, 3-way adjustable Fox.
So the isodynamic front seat, from what I've understood, is it's an air shock like front seat. You can actually air these seats up, and it's supposed to stop the side sway. So when you're going through a bumpy zone and you're swinging back and forth with your head, it's supposed to eliminate a lot of that.
Internal bypass shocks, crawl control, an updated multi-terrain select system that works in both 4-low and 4-high, and a new front stable.
Being honest, the crawl control and all that, when I'm off-roading, I don't really use it. The one thing I do use is multi-select control, because it does help me when I'm going through certain zones. If one of the wheels spins, it'll give the brake to the other one. And I kind of use it on mobile mode. That way it's a little bit softer. I'm not hearing those sneakers and the washing machine noise all the time. It'll just activate once in a while when I really need it.
Stabilizer bar disconnect, which cleverly decouples the front wheels to help traverse more extreme obstacles. On the other hand, Trail Hunter is ready right out of the box for overlanding, a type of off-roading where the journey is the focal point, along with similar features found on TRD Pro. Tacoma Trail Hunter includes an Old Man Emu suspension, a heavy-duty ARB steel rear bumper with recovery points.
So in case you're wondering about this, the Old Man Emu and the ARB stuff, these are Australian-based companies. Australia is kind of like America. They love off-roading. They are really serious with their gear. So when you see this Old Man Emu stuff, they are serious. They are really good, high-quality stuff.
Tons of underbody protection, a high-clearance trail exhaust, rock rails, a high-mount air intake, and an ARB sports bar, all of which directly contribute to its overlanding capabilities. Plus, an available pre-wired aux switch DC panel connected right to the fuse box makes it
That's similar how the Ford Bronco did it with pre-wired switches. What it does is all these switches are basically hot wired to your fuse box, and you can tie into the fuse box under the hood to be able to access, instead of having to wire up switches in your console and having to do all this work. You can just take your new light bar and wire it straight to the fuse box, and you're done. You got your auxiliary switch set.
Easy to install accessories. Both TRD Pro and Trail Hunter feature 18-inch wheels wrapped in 33-inch tires, as well as a lifted suspension that's 1 inch higher in the front and 0.5 inches higher in the rear for impressive approach, departure, and breakover angle.
So when they say that, that means these are higher than the SR5. They're pretty much the same height as what the outcoming Toyotas are. So don't think that this is a extra inch and a half higher than the outgoing Toyota Tacoma. It's just higher than the SR5.
In addition, Tacoma's off-road grades include rear differential lock capability and available 17-inch front and rear disc brakes. Meanwhile, TRD Off-Road remains a fixture in Tacoma's lineup, featuring Bilstein monotube remote reservoir shocks for enhanced capability off the beaten path.
By the way, on the brakes, I know they said available 17-inch disc brakes, but on the standard one, the SR5, you're going to have disc brakes front and rear also. You're just not going to have the extra large ones. So make sure you know that the drum brakes are gone. It's done with.
Tacoma's off-road oriented model line expands with the TRD Pre-Runner, which returns for the 4th generation after nearly a decade of absence.
So the Pre-Runner, this is more of a construction-based truck. You can see it has 2 doors and a long access cab in the back. What this is for is there's no back seat, it's just an open zone back there. That way, if you have construction gear and things like that, you can throw it in the back. It's just a nice open cab area in the back of it.
This 2-wheel drive off-roader is available exclusively in extra cab configuration and comes with a lifted front suspension, a rear locking differential, and beefier BF Goodrich all-terrain tires. When it comes to on-road performance, Tacoma also delivers. TRD Sport includes sport-tuned shocks for an agile feel on the street, while Limited, the only grade available with full-time 4-wheel drive, attributes its sublime ride comfort partly to its...
So full-time 4-wheel drive, well, let's talk about this for a second. This comes from the Lexus platform. Lexus had, they have a 4Runner type of vehicle, and it has full-time 4-wheel drive. So the full-time 4-wheel drive has a center differential that releases, so you're not locking the front group to the rear wheels, and then you can hit a button to lock and engage the center differential. So by standard, it's not locked together. You just kind of get an all-wheel drive kind of feel. And then when you want to go off-roading, you click the button and it locks the front and rear differentials together.
It's adaptive variable suspension, which constantly adapts to changing road conditions. Inside, Tacoma complements its capabilities with comfort and premium tech. This starts with a new interior featuring improved front seats with 6 or 8-way adjustment. And
what they've done with the seats, because everybody complained about the Toyota that you're laying on the floor, the seats they raised up 1.5 inches, and then they raised the height of the cab 1.5 inches. So your headroom is up 1.5 inches, and the seat is up 1.5 inches. That way, you're now sitting off the floor. You're just like a regular old truck. You're not sitting into the floor like a car.
Heating and ventilation functionality on select trims, all while maintaining good outward visibility. Tacoma's interior story continues with tech features like the standard 7-inch multi-information display or the available 12.3-inch multi-information display. Toyota's latest audio multimedia platform can also be found here, served up through either an 8-inch or available 14-inch touchscreen, the latter of which...
Now, I will say, 14-inch touchscreen, that's huge. I don't know if you really need it for four-wheel driving, but from what I've understood, they have the 360 camera structure that it sees around your entire truck. And it would be kind of nice to be able to, click the screen and be able to see every, rock in a high detail that's around the truck. And you can see where those front wheels are from that rock. That'd be pretty handy.
Which also includes an integrated USB-C port for charging capability. The USB story continues with dual USB-C ports for front passengers and rear USB charging points for riders in the rear, allowing all occupants to keep their devices juiced when disconnecting from civilization.
So in the rear, that they'd never had before. What I did with my kids is they have one in the center console, and I'd use that and then run it back to the kids, and then run a splitter in the front. So to be able to have USBs in the rear, that's pretty nice.
This platform includes standard wireless compatibility for Apple CarPlay, which connects drivers to the apps on their iPhone, including Maps, Messages, Podcasts, and music subscriptions. In addition, wireless Android Auto compatibility makes it easy to stay connected to Android devices and access various apps and services from Google, including...
Now, a quick note here, if you're going to have wireless Android, your phone has to be compatible with wireless Android. So you got to have a certain version of iPhone, a newer version, to be able to use the wireless Android. You can't use an iPhone 10 and use it.
Including YouTube Music, Google Maps, and Google Assistant. Plus, the available 10-speaker JBL premium audio system with subwoofer and amplifier ensures adventure playlists are played with stunning clarity. Tacoma also has an available JBL Flex portable speaker, allowing...
Now this is kind of interesting. From what I've understood on this is, say you have a Tacoma day and all you guys are out there and you're off-roading, end of the day, you can actually take this speaker out and sync it with everybody else's Tacoma speakers, and you can run an entire group, like 10, 20 cars on the one central device, so you can have music playing through everybody's Tacomas.
Owners to take their tunes with them while engaging in outdoor activities. And when it comes to driving convenience, Tacoma can be equipped with Toyota's first 3D panoramic view monitor, as well as multi-terrain monitor to help...
One thing I hope they keep the view that shows under the truck of when you're driving. It takes a picture of the front when you're rolling forward, and it uses that picture underneath your truck. So I hope they keep that. That was a really nice feature.
Navigate potential hazards and obstacles. Similarly, the blind spot monitor system extends its detection zone when a trailer is attached, ensuring seamless and easy towing. And speaking of towing, the trailer reverse assist and an available wireless trailer camera with e-mirror support the driver by automatically controlling steering inputs when backing up a trailer. That's not all. Even out back, a 2400-watt power outlet and a power up and down tailgate add additional convenience for owners. Finally, the available Qi-compatible wireless charging has a rubber cover to prevent devices from sliding around when off-roading or overlanding. Tacoma's performance is backed up by its handsomely rugged looks, inspired by Toyota's Baja race trucks. With a high lift, slim body, big tires, and an optimized cabin, Tacoma has a distinct personality, all while conveying a family identity. And like before, variety is the name of the game, featuring 8 grades, a 5 or 6 foot bed, and 2 cab styles, including the new 2-door extra cab. Furthering this customizability is Tacoma's wide range of color choices. That means new color options.
By the way, one thing I'm not as thrilled about, they're extending the wheelbase by 4 inches. So right now the Tacoma was like 10.5 inches shorter wheelbase from the Jeep Gladiator. This one's going to be like 6.5 or 6 inches shorter. So it's still going to be shorter than the Jeep Gladiator, but we're starting to stretch it a little bit, and that breakover angle is not getting as good anymore.
Options for both interior and exterior. In addition to standard LED lighting across the lineup, a first for Tacoma, off-road focused models like Trailhunter can be distinguished by exterior design features like a high-clearance front bumper, an LED light bar, rock rails, and rigid fog lights. For work use, Tacoma's extra cab configuration adds extra practicality with useful features like a specially designed fold-down front passenger seat, which can be turned into a workspace or additional storage. Plus, a lockable back panel provides even more space for accessories. And
That's the one for using for construction. There's no back doors to it. It's just an open zone in the back.
when it comes to accessories, Tacoma's customizable nature is further bolstered by the newly announced Associated Accessory Products program, which includes partners like ARB, whose products already come standard on Tacoma Trailhunter. The Associated Accessory Products ecosystem will continue to evolve with offerings like roof racks, lighting, and more. Through this program, owners can equip their trucks exactly the way they want them, straight from their local Toyota dealer. Top-class safety and driver assistance technologies round out Tacoma's tech story. All grades come standard with Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, which includes...
And I'm going to skip over this part because I'm an off-road channel, and when we go in for low, this is all going to be turned off anyway. So skipping this.
capability. Thanks to its new foundations, upgraded powertrains, and clever new tech features, this mid-sized truck is ready for work and play. Plus, with its expansive lineup of over 20 unique configurations between its 2 cabs, 2 beds, and 3 powertrain combinations, there's a Tacoma for every need and lifestyle. And that also means the hybrid grades support Toyota's efforts to move toward Beyond Zero, its vision for a...
The hybrid one, I'm an RV person. I got an RV out pulling behind my Tacoma, and I'm very interested in that because I can just go out boondocking on my campouts and plug my RV in and enjoy nice air conditioning at night. That's going to be a huge benefit.
carbon neutral future and beyond. All considered, Tacoma is set to shake up the mid-sized truck segment once again.
Well, that's the end of it, and I hope you got more information like I did about this new Tacoma. And like I said, I'm going to talk to Toyota and get more information on the inverter and a couple other things, and we'll let you know the results of that.